up, people? It's the Dub Podcast on I Live for Saturdays, the best college football channel on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at I Live for Saturdays, 4 as in the number 4. Like, comment, and subscribe. And a big shout out to everyone on Twitter. We cannot thank you enough of how much we appreciate every single follow that we get. We are some definitely follow whores. We just follow a bunch of people, and hopefully people follow back. And we'll even say follow back and let them know. But for the people that stick around, that actually stick around after they follow, they click that follow button. We've had some awesome conversations with people about college football. It's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed my Saturdays. The reason I made I Live for Saturdays, by the way, was just so I stopped annoying all the people from local Twitter on my Twitter account, and to actually talk to people that enjoy college football as well and conversate, share ideas, share something that we all enjoy, and have this whole community and just talk about college football. And that's pretty much the only reason why I've done it. And we definitely appreciate all the great, kind people that we've had talk. And here's the thing about I Live for Saturdays that I love the most. My personal account, when I used to talk college football and I used to throw out an opinion, it would be a Twitter fight, a Twitter war. And I would usually be so surprised why I would get to that point, because I wouldn't initiate anything. I wouldn't swear at anybody, because it's pointless to swear at anybody over the internet. But I would go out and defend on a limb on a team or a player that I have no affiliation with, but I would still get massive hate from a bunch of people that didn't like that team and would call me a homer of like Washington State, or like a Johnny Manziel lover. And Johnny Manziel is one of my favorite players of all time in college football, but I could care less about him as a person, you know what I mean? So it was just a really weird place, and for whatever reason, I Live for Saturdays, it really calms people down. There's not a lot of fighting and bickering. There's good arguments. There's good conversation. There's good debate. But it never takes it to unnecessary level. It never goes that far. So I've appreciated all 800 plus of you. We're hoping to get to 900 at the end of the season. Hopefully by next year, we're way over 1,000. That's what we're hoping for. That's our huge goal. If we can get to that, that'd be awesome, man. We would love that. Big thank you to all the followers and all the people we've talked to. Thank you for all the contributions that you've made to this account and to our podcast. Thank you for clicking on and showing the love. So a big narrative, and I wouldn't say it's a bad narrative, but I guess I would use the word narrative, that's gone on this season, is that the Big Ten has now surpassed the SEC. And I think definitely the top 4 or 5 teams of the Big Ten I would take way over the top 4 or 5 teams of the SEC. I mean, after Alabama and Texas A&M, you get Auburn, you get Arkansas, Florida, Tennessee, who's living off pure talent. I would take Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Nebraska, schools with great coaching right now as we speak, as incredible coaching. But I still would honestly take the SEC as a whole over the Big Ten. And I'm not saying because the old narrative also, which again, this one I would say in a negative connotation, use the word narrative, that the SEC from top to bottom is just better than anybody, and like Vanderbilt can go into the ACC and go undefeated. Like y'all remember that like 3 or 4 years ago, that was like the strongest thing in the world. And I always thought that was bullshit. But I do think from top to bottom, it is better than every conference in terms of talent. So I still think the SEC has the best talent by far. Do I think those teams are good enough to go into the Big Ten or the ACC and get 10, 11 wins? Hell no. Hell no. Texas A&M, Alabama, maybe. Alabama definitely. Maybe at Texas A&M. After that, Tennessee will throw one away. 3 games away. Florida will throw some games away. Auburn, Arkansas, Ole Miss just throwing games away. I don't trust any of those teams, though I think they have some really good coaches. I think they can be outcoached, and I think they have some pretty big flaws. And I guess my perspective is of a coach, because I am a coach, and it's what I love to do. But I love talking about coaching, and we said last week that coaching is everything. And if you can get the right coach and the right people, management, just in general, if you're running a business, right, you need great management. It starts at the top. Can you get a great coach in? And how do you get a great coach in? Obviously, you got to scout a little. Obviously, you got to watch. You got to do your research. But at the end of the day, you got to spend that money, man. You have to spend the money. Don't go cheap on these coaches. Remember when people were talking about Jim Harbaugh? Don't spend that $7 million. Don't spend that $7 million, $6 million. We find out today, or last week, this week, coaching salaries came out. It was really cool. I love that. I love the numbers that I love about coaching. Great two things I love about anything. And they paying this man, Jim Harbaugh, $9 million. And to be honest, he is worth more than that. What he has done since January, since Michigan season's been ended, till today, he has done way more than any coach in America. And I think he's the most valuable coach in America. Add the money, add whatever you want, the extra signing bonus, the extra money that goes into it, whatever the hell, all the little problems that he's brought into Michigan, whatever y'all want to talk about, negative press, whatever. He is worth it. This man is recruiting his ass off. He is going into states he shouldn't be in, and he is taking your recruits. He is whipping teams by 70-plus points, shutting teams out. That's crazy, man. That is unbelievable. He is so valuable. And I always believe that you should never, ever go cheap on something that is so valuable in your sport. Your quarterback in professional football, your superstar in NBA, your top goal scorer, and your top center back in soccer, and your coach in college football. Don't go cheap on these guys. Don't look for money ball for these guys. They're not money ball. They're not, what's the value in terms of money? Let's have our analytics guys. No, these guys are too valuable to the game that they play or the game that they participate in. Pay them the money. Give them the dough. They are the most important thing in your damn sport. And here's something interesting. Everybody's been curious about the Big 12. Even me. I've been pretty curious about the Big 12. What the hell is going on in the Big 12? The Big 12 has been ahead of the curve in college football for 15 years. They have Texas, the state of Texas. All coaches, all top great coaches come from the state of Texas, right? They invent, they innovate, they bring out the best at each other. It's such incredible competition in the state of Texas for football that crazy ass new ideas come out of there, and even great talent. The best of the best coaches want to coach in the state of Texas, whether it's high school ball, youth football. We've seen it in Friday Night Lights in youth football, college football, and even the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys is the mecca of professional football, whether you like it or not. But that is the mecca where any coach would love to be there of the NFL. And I'm not a Cowboy fan. And besides all that, the Big 12, who owns the state of Texas, has been behind for a few years now. And I think the coach's salary coming out says it all. It says it all. So what I like to do always in anything in numbers, because I love numbers, in the top 30 percentile, and love using that. Top 30 percentile, top 20, top 10. So there's 119 coaches' salaries that we know of, right? There's a few guys out there like Mark Richt, we don't know. Dino Babers at Syracuse, we don't know. Clay Helton at USC, Jim Groh, we don't know right now. I'm sure we'll find out too. But from that base, that chunk, that good sample size, 119 coaches. Top 30 percentile of that is 36. So in the top 36, the top 30 percentile of those coaches being paid, The SEC has 12 coaches in there. ACC, 5. Big 10, 6. Big 12, 6. Pac-12, 6. And the AAC's got 1, and that's Tom Herman. So that's all right, right? The SEC, obviously, they got the most money. They're going to spend for them coaches, man. That's what they do. ACC still hanging in there, and you got the Big 12, the Pac-12, and the Big 10 all there. Top 20 percentile. So those are B-plus coaches, right? The B-plus salaries, I should say. SEC 10, ACC 3, Big 10 5, Big 12 4, Pac-12 2. So the Big 10, number 2 in the top 20 percentile. Now let's go to the A-plus salaries, the top 10 percentile. SEC 4, ACC 2, Big 12 2, and guess what? The Big 10 4. So a conference, the Big 10, who's known for its academics, Big 12 in Texas, mostly known for only football, is not spending the type of money that they should be spending on coaches. Again, the most important thing in the sport. They're not paying these dudes. They're not actually they're not solving their problem. And unfortunately, which I wanted to do a video, and I've had a take on Charlie Strong. He's one of the top 2 in the top 10 percentile highest paid. And he's not panned out. And he was never meant to succeed at Texas. You could go with just people not wanting him there. Coaching style fit, what I've been saying. Just the atmosphere of Texas, from going to Louisville to Texas quickly, and even the racial stuff that came with it. With people saying they didn't want a black coach. Right? Since the first day he got there, he was set up for failure. But besides that, they still spend the 6th most. That's where the Big 12 is right now. Either not spending the money, or when they have the opportunity to spend the money, they overdo it. And I give credit to Texas. At least they were trying. They were swinging for the fences trying to find somebody. And I still think Charlie Strong is still great. I just don't think he's a good fit for the Big 12. Or Texas. But they still whiffed on him. Despite all that, and I love him, and I like him, respect him, they whiffed on him. They whiffed on him. You cannot say otherwise. No matter what, I know all the bad circumstances that he came in there. He was set up to fail, but they whiffed. Regardless. The result is he whiffed. They whiffed. So after that, what do you have? One guy in the top 10 percentile, and that's Bob Stoops, who's great. But after that, you got no A-plus coaches or A-plus salaries. And in the top 20 percentile, Big 10 still beats you. So the Big 12, what y'all doing, man? Spend that money. Go find the coaches. Go get an NFL guy. Go get Adam Gase, man. Throw that money. Texas Tech, go throw that money, man. I know you guys made money from football. Kansas, don't give David Beatty $800,000. Spend $2 million on Adam Gase, man. Chuck Pagano, whatever. Get an NFL guy in there. Go bring back Mike Leach. What y'all doing? This is supposed to be the football conference where they don't give a crap about no school, just football. And you guys can't do that right now. And I like Mike Gundy. I really do. But right now, he's not that valuable. He's just not. And here's the last thing I gotta say about the coach guys. Man, I have like 20 takes on them, and I'm really reducing all my takes. But you gotta give credit to these universities. You really do. Give a lot of credit. Universities have some smart ass people. They really, really do. And that's obvious, right? They're all college graduates, I would assume. And they know how to spend this money. Look at number 1, Jim Harbaugh, the most valuable coach this year by far. Do not argue this. He's the most valuable coach. It ain't even close. It's not close, okay? By far, and he's the highest paid coach in college football today, okay? Got it right. Second most valuable, Nick Saban. Yep, second most paid. Third, Urban Meyer. Yep, getting that money. Fourth, Bob Stoops. Yes, got it right. Oklahoma getting that money. And before you say, oh, but look at Oklahoma. Oklahoma has depleted recruits, and it's getting very, very difficult to get people to Norman, Oklahoma in 2016, man. It is not the same. It is not the 1960s. This dude, Bob Stoops, is the man. And if Virginia Tech lost Justin Fuente tomorrow, I would hope we give Bob Stoops $10 million because that dude is valuable. Number 5, Jimbo Fisher. All right, sure. National title. Deserved it. Number 6, Charlie Strong. We've talked about that. Number 7, Kevin Sumlin. Great value. Number 8, Auburn. Gus Malzahn. Sure. Number 9, Mississippi. Hugh Freeze. Okay. Number 10, Penn State. Oh, and James Franklin. The dude that just beat Urban Meyer. Yes, the dude is valuable. 11, Kirk Ferentz. 12, Dabo Sweeney. Yes, these are all top 10 percentile coaches. And out there is Mark D'Antoni, Mark D'Antonio, Dan Mullen, David Shaw is the number 1 highest paid coach in the Pac-12. I mean, these dudes are really smart. They're throwing out this money, and they really, really know. Now, again, the Big 12, they have some problems. They need to start throwing some money away. Texas got to stop chokeholding this conference like they are. Oh, by the way, the second, third, arguably best team in the ACC, guess who's the third highest paid coach in the ACC? By Petrino, Louisville. Yep. I mean, look. If you look at all these coaches, all these salaries, they line up with the wins in their conference standings. You gotta really appreciate these universities. They know what they're doing. The only thing I would say, spend a little bit more money. Big 12. That's my only problem with this. Big 12's got to spend that money. You're the football conference. You are Texas. God damn it. Spend that money, man. Spend that money. All right, so betting lines, the Big O. He will tweet those tomorrow, since this is a Friday night. So he was out to a hot start, man. But he laid back 2 weeks ago. Didn't do so hot. Went 5-5. Is 5-5 now, or was at that point. Now 8-7. Me got up to a terrible start, 2-3. But guess what, your boy? Where is he at now? That's right, 10-5. 10-5 this year. What is that? 66%. Ooh boy, I'm on fire. All right. So week 4, Clemson, 4-point favorite over Florida State. I'm all over this one, but I'm taking Clemson. West Virginia, 3.5 favorite over Oklahoma State. Right now, Dana Holgorsen getting so many props by all like the super smart people in football and the X's and O people. So right now, I'm gonna float with Dana Holgorsen. I'm gonna ride this wave so far. Baylor, 3.5, minus 3.5 over Texas. Charlie Strong, man, he can't catch a break. I think Baylor is playing really strong. They are really rallying over this Art Briles firing, which he deserved it. But they're rallying around him, and that's cool. Good for the kids. Good for the kids, because most of those kids had nothing to do with any of the bats. Well, at least that we know of so far. Nebraska is a 9-point underdog to Wisconsin. That makes absolutely no sense to me, even though I know Wisconsin is great. But how the hell is Wisconsin a 9-point favorite? Like, if Wisconsin was a 4 or 5, 6-point favorite, I'd be like, okay, this is a tough call. But a 9-point favorite, I gotta take Wisconsin, man. That is a crazy line. And Michigan is a 24.5-point favorite over Michigan State. I just think that's too big of a line. I know Michigan State has been horrible this year, but they're actually pretty talented. If you look at their recruiting classes leading up to this year, they got some good talent. Are they Michigan talent? No. Are they as well coached as Jim Harbaugh's team this year? No. Mark D'Antoni has lost a lot of dudes on that coaching staff. So that has taken a big toll on them this year with some bad bounces of some games. I think they'll be ready for this game. So I think they'll cover this point. So I'm taking the dog, Michigan State. I just think 24.5, that's too much, man. You got to win by 25 points, a quarter of 100 against your rival, against a top coach and a pretty talented team. I know they're bad right now. I know they're bad. But that money, Nah, man, I gotta take Michigan State. I gotta take the Spartans. So, I was flying solo today. Everyone was sick, couldn't do it, whatever. I had to get this pod out. It's Friday. You'll probably get this in the morning, Saturday morning. Yeah, it'll be Saturday morning, yeah, because it's late at night. So, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to us, follow us on Twitter, at I Live for Saturdays. 4 is in the number 4, and peace.